the U.S. Virgin Islands population lives. It's where Captain Teresa and Ryan and myself live. Ryan actually lives in my house. It's pretty cool. He's my roommate from high school. Yeah, so St. Thomas, we got about 55,000 people over there. It's the capital of our territory. Charlotte Amalie Harbor, where your boat is, one of the best natural harbors in the Caribbean. St. Thomas is pretty cool. It's just a little island, but it's got a couple different little microclimates. So where you guys met us at the marina is on the southeast side of the island. It tends to be a lot more flat and therefore kind of dry down there. So you get a lot of cactus and dry rocks, things like that, some scrubby bush. But up on the north side where we all live, we stay wet, windy, and cool. It's because as the clouds come in, all the prevailing winds go that way. As the clouds hit the mountain, they kind of build up, they get dense, and then they just dump water on us. Which is good for us, because on the north side, we don't have any water. We don't get water supplied by the island, because it would take a whole lot of energy to pump water up over that mountain. So we're not supplied by the city. We basically just collect rain that hits our roofs, runs down our gutters, and into a big holding tank we call a cistern. So we go through 2 seasons down here, you guys. Maybe wherever you're from, you have winter, spring, summer, and fall. We just have wet season and dry season. So we just came out of the dry season. That's usually from about December until now. So during the dry season, you got to conserve your water. Maybe only do laundry once a month, take a shower once every 10 days. I don't know. But we've been getting wet lately, so Ryan and I, we smell good. I promise we're showering on a daily basis because we can this time of year. Yeah. So you guys lucked out. As you see, like I said, St. Thomas is very mountainous, so that can really do a number on your car's transmission. A lot of the cars down here are really island beaters. They're kind of like little tin cans. Because of transmission issues, you're actually allowed, the policemen and traffic rules are pretty cool. You're allowed to go down the road in reverse. So, you guys probably noticed on your taxi ride, what side of the road do we ride on? Yeah, we ride on the left-hand side. It's a little, it takes some getting used to, but you learn quick. It's kind of a sink or swim situation. It used to be a Danish territory, and from what I understand, the reason we still ride on the left is because when the Americans bought it, all the horses and the mules and donkeys were just trained to walk down the left-hand side of the road. So Americans were like, hey, we drive on the right, and everyone here was like, well, guess what, our horses don't, we're not teaching them. So they just said, all right, we'll keep it as is. We do import American cars though, so we drive on the left-hand side of the road, still have our driving wheel on the left-hand side of the road. So general rule of thumb for me is I just keep my shoulder to the shoulder. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking if you're riding in the shotgun seat, because we got a saying that tourists, you guys do your best to stay focused, drive down the left-hand side of the road. Locals don't care, they just drive right down the middle. It's not even a joke, that's true. So I think like, it's better just to stay on the edge. Just coming around in tight bend, you're probably going to get a big garbage truck right in the middle. The Caribbean, you guys probably think no shoes, no shirt, no problem, right? Well, it's not exactly true. I mean, no shoes, that's cool. I wear shoes like 3 times a year. I love it. No shirts though. The West Indians, the locals, it's kind of a courtesy thing. If you walk around town without a shirt on, they'll actually ask you to put one back on. Just because, you know, it's our town, it's our island, you guys can keep your shirts on. So they might give you a warning. If you're coming back from the beach after the whole day, maybe you're all sweaty, you don't want to put your shirt back on, a policeman can actually pull you over and give you a $75 ticket. You guys have been here, it's almost lunchtime. I don't know if any of you got your drink on yet, but you probably noticed there's no open container laws. You can walk around the streets with an open beer or a rum and coke or anything you'd like. So the same goes for driving. You're not allowed to drive drunk, that's absolutely against the law, but if it's your first one of the day, you can't have a beer while you're driving around. So coming back from the beach, a cop will pull you over and give you a ticket for not having your shirt off. You say, all right, man, you give him your beer, he'll give you your ticket, you got both hands to fill out your form. When you're done, you give him the ticket back, he gives you your beer, and you're on your way. So you can't drive around without your shirt on, although legally you can go full speed down the left-hand side of the road in reverse, drinking a Heineken. So it's a little bizarre, but we've all been here long enough, we got used to it. You gotta adjust, right? It's their world, we're just living in it. Behind us, we got St. John, that's where we're going to. That's number 2 of the 3 U.S. Virgin Islands. St. John's about 75% national park. It was owned by a little-known American family called the Rockefellers. Yeah. So they're pretty cool. They used to own the whole island. They donated about 75% of it to the federal government because they liked it so much and wanted to keep it pristine. So the Department of the Interior runs it just like all the rest of the national parks out in Wyoming and California and wherever. There's only about 10,000 people over there. So we got 55 on St. Thomas. St. John has about 10. About 8,000 of those people are living in Cruz Bay, the West End settlement. That's their biggest town. They got a small one on the east side called Coral Bay. A couple houses throughout the national park. I'm not really sure how that happened, but maybe they got grandfathered in or were just very influential. But Cruz Bay, not like a cruise ship, C-R-U-Z. So longest happy hour I've ever seen. I think they do it from like 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. I don't know how they survive, how they keep afloat, but that's their happy hour. Sometimes Kenny Chesney will be sitting on the street just having a Coors Light. Pretty cool guy. Really small actually, but whatever. So you guys see that super mega yacht and all those boat masts? That's Honeymoon Bay. That's where we're going right now. That's where we're going to go snorkel and more up, and you guys can have some beach time. But the white strip of beach directly to the left of that is called Keneal Bay. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Keneal Bay. It's a very ritzy 5-star resort. So as the Rockefellers donated about 75% of the island, they also kept a little bit for themselves, which they can develop. Turn a profit. They're pretty financially savvy, I suppose. So Keneal Bay is a nice 5-star resort. Rooms start at about $1,200 a night. It's on the National Park Island, so they like you to try to get back to your roots, be simple, be naturalist and all that. So they don't have any air conditioning, they don't have any cable, they don't have any internet. If you want, they can take your cell phones from you. And just keep in mind, it's up for $1,200 a night. So Ron and I have been hatching a plan. We don't have any AC, we don't have internet, we don't have cable. If you want, we'll take your phones and throw them out. You guys can stay with us for like $200 a night on the north side of St. Thomas. We're pretty good cooks, we have a blast, and we got a nice little cat. So let us know if you're interested. I think we got all the Keneal Bay has, plus a little more flavor. The third U.S. Virgin Island is St. Croix. St. Croix is 40 miles that way. Today you can actually not see St. Croix, some days you can. We're actually really far south and really far east, surprisingly close to North Africa and the Saharan Desert. So the finest rain particles, the smallest ones, they can actually drift in the air all the way across the Atlantic, just like the hurricanes do. And on a day like this, we got a little bit of haze or fog in the air. That's actually dust particles from the Saharan Desert. So typically you might be able to see just 2 little mountain peaks of St. Croix, and then the visibility's not that good. St. Croix is a pretty cool island though. It's actually the biggest one geographically. They got the Captain Morgan rum distillery, they got the Cruisin' rum distillery. Going back to the mountain slopes we have, that means we don't have that much room or arable land for agriculture and livestock. We got pretty shallow topsoil. So a gallon of milk down here might run you like $8.50. But the Cruisin' rum distillery on St. Croix, they're pretty cool. If you bring them an empty gallon jug, they'll fill you up for $2. So depending on whether you just got your paycheck or whether you're gonna get your paycheck in the next 4 days, you gotta be making decisions on whether you're having milk or rum on your cereal. Rum on your cereal is not very good, but it is doable, I'll tell you what. Any of you guys heard of Jost Van Dyke? Jost Van Dyke is a British Virgin Island. It's a pretty world-renowned party island. We like to get over there usually on Sundays. A lot of people from St. Thomas get on power boats with their friends, kind of head over as a little party fleet. You can raft up to each other. Jost Van Dyke only has about 200 full-time residents, but they have like 22 beach bars. So if you're going over there, you want a spot to drink on the beach, odds are there's probably an open stool for you. Jost Van Dyke also has like one of the 6th biggest New Year's Eve parties every year. Like I said, there's only 200 people. It's that little flat top island. You can almost see the whole thing right now, so there's not much room for an airport. That means everybody gets there by boat. So on New Year's Eve, they can have, instead of 200, maybe about 8,000 people on their island. All these boats rafted up. You gotta walk across about a mile of boats just to get on land. Then they do a pretty good concert. I think last year it was Shaggy. Shaggy's pretty cool. Good little reggae fella. So that's Jost Van Dyke. Again, British Virgin Island. There's the imaginary line running in between the north side of this island and St. John. That's where it gets divided. If you go to the BVIs, you gotta bring your passport. Everything in here is fair game for us as American citizens. So that's pretty cool. This island right here, this closest one, that is called Livongo Island. Like I was mentioning earlier about Charlotte Amalia being a great natural harbor, well, a lot of pirates used to utilize that. So back in the day, they had loot Danish ships, Dutch ships, Spanish ships, and then used St. Thomas as kind of a pirate haven, Blackbeard especially. If you guys have any time in the afternoon, there's a spot in town called Blackbeard's 99 Steps. You can get up to the top of his hill where he used to have a little outlook. But because it was such great pirate territory, once they got more of a population, they figured, let's keep the pirates off the island with the women and children. So out here on Livongo, they built a bar and a brothel. Just the essentials, right? You got your bar, you got your brothel for all the pirates. So they come in, they get their lovin', they get their drink on, and then they go. So they used to call it Love and Go Island. Now we just call it Livongo Island. But it's kind of an adaptation of get your lovin' and go. It's a little pirate haven. Right now it's owned by like 6 private families. They got their own windmill on the point, generating their own electricity because they're off the grid from the mainland, or I say Their capital is Town as opposed to our Maui Harbor. So it's a similar island relatively, but it's a little bit quieter. I like it over there. BVIs are nice. Well guys, we're coming into Honeymoon Bay, so I think I'm going to get you, that's where we're going to be doing our snorkeling. So I'm going to pass out these snorkel vests. If you guys have any questions about an island maybe I didn't address, or what life is like living down here, just find Ryan or Teresa or myself. We've been down here long enough. We'll be able to fill you in. Maybe you guys come up with something that stumps us, we'll just do our best to act casual and make something up on the spot. No, I'm kidding.
Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Although before here I was in South Carolina for about 7 years. But I'm from the north. I've been moving further and further south as I get older. Yeah, so like I said, you guys got any questions, let us know. I'm going to pass out these snorkel vests for you and we're going to get ready to hit the water. Sound good? Yep. Alright.